Friday, June 14th, 2024, and The View opened up. Um, I guess an article was written. I didn't read the article about whether or not people can uh, be redeemed. I don't know if it was specifically about people from the Me Too movement and celebrities specifically, um, or if it was more general. But they opened with a clip from Piers Morgan's show um, with Kevin Spacey, and when you're unwelcome when the only show you can book is Piers Morgan, um, and he admits that he was handsy, a little handsy when he didn't think people, and he thought it was okay. Didn't realize he was making people uncomfortable. You were more than a handsy, Kevin Spacey. You were a fucking creep, and you were drugging people and raping them. Much like Bill Cosby, who was not mentioned today. And I heard Sarah Haynes say Harvey Weinstein was the only name she was going to say. And I wonder if, because of Whoopi's stance on Bill, The View was like, we won't talk about Cosby, which is some bullshit because he deserves to be remembered as a rapist as much as Harvey Weinstein does. Um, So Kevin Spacey goes on and he's got no money and his house in Baltimore is being foreclosed on. You know what, buddy? I don't care. You should have had the wherewithal to be able to sell that house before it got to foreclosure, so you'd have a little bit of cash. But you probably didn't want to do that, so you can be bankrupt, so you don't have to pay out all the settlements that you owe. Um, I don't. I hate that. No, he doesn't feel any remorse. He's just pissed off that he lost his career and his reputation and his money. He doesn't learn. He's a narcissist. That whole thing, that performance on Piers Morgan, that weird, creepy video that he did right after the allegations came out and he admitted he was gay. What a weird fucking way to come out of the closet, be like, oh yeah, I kind of may have, I don't remember touching that kid. Oh, but I am gay. Fuck off, Kevin Spacey. Um, so no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't get a second chance. I recommend that he watch the documentary about him on Netflix. Um, that interviews several men that have never talked about their stories before about how fucking uncomfortable he made people and the advances he made on people. Um, and no, 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 Kevin Spacey, you're not welcome back. I appreciate the discussion about whether or not, uh, you know, people can be, allowed back in polite society and get their lives back. But yeah, but that's if you have, um, done the work to make the change, understand and own the mistakes that you made, have some consequences for that, and then make sure that that is not repeated again. They talked about Morgan Spurlock, which I thought was a weird choice because he canceled himself. um, but he had a whole bunch of other issues going on too. It there was alcoholism. There's a whole bunch of other stuff going on with him. Um, but that's the step in the right direction is to take ownership and accountability and a recognition that this is behavior that should never be repeated again. They brought up uh, Weinstein. Um, I can't remember now. But the whole thing, and Amy Alyssa Farrah Griffin, she uses this opportunity to be like, Me Too fell down defending the women of Israel. I don't know that that was a Me Too. The 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 Me Too and Time's Up movements were really about um, uh, abuse of power and influence, um, as much as they were about any kind of sexual assault. So I don't think their mission was about um, helping to solve sexual assault everywhere in every instance. It was about, uh, you know, maybe it was, I don't know. I guess the Time's Up movement was very specifically about um, people of power. And I didn't realize that Anna Navarro was on that board. Um, but yes, you have to make space for people to have uh, to sort of get their lives back, but not unrepentant ones, and not when they've done as many shitty things to so many people. Um, I know I don't know. Kevin Spacey's not invited back. Oh, Joy brought up Al Franken, which is always she always goes back to Al Franken, um, and she says he should have gotten his day in court, and he removed himself because he didn't want it to be a distraction. And one of them said it was an unfortunate circumstance of timing, which it was. Um, but then they didn't talk about Louis C.K. They didn't talk about someone like Aziz Ansari who um, had a date and she came up with all these allegations, admitting in her own story that she never indicated to him that she was uncomfortable. Um, and then he lost a show like that. That was a weird hit piece, and it was like that just sounds like it was a date. And you admittedly never told him that and he wasn't promising any kind of work for her. Like that one was a weird one. Um, so it's uh, it's a weird topic, um, but it is an interesting one because they've done this before with people, and they talk about cancel culture and consequence culture, and they use all their words, but it is sort of a gray area about what do we think are enough consequences depending on what the crimes were. Um, but I don't care what any court of law says. Kevin Spacey can disappear forever and live in a hole. That's fine by me. And oh, Hannah Einbender is just adorable. They didn't even mention that her mother is Lorraine Newman, which I thought was interesting, because usually they like to have the nepo baby talk, but they didn't. And all right, that's the end of this week. Happy birthday to all the fathers on Sunday.